Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hillel Cooperman, Jenny Lamb, Oracle Senior Vice Presidents of User Experience Design.
Yay!
Did you?
Should have been for the other side. Okay. Ooh, I got nervous all of a sudden, just a little. Everyone have a good morning? Cool. Thanks for coming. Okay, exciting. So thanks for the introduction. You know our names. Just a little background. I got here 18 months ago to Oracle, not here to Moscone. I've not. I just wanted to prepare early for the session and just make sure I had my act together. So I've just been in this room for 18 months. And before that, I was at Microsoft a couple of times and worked at a creative agency with Jenny for many years. Everything okay?
Just gonna make sure the audio's plugged in.
Oh, we didn't do the audio. That's a good thing. You know, I got it. We're good. Done. Listen, this is an informal operation. We're gonna save our polish for the product. It's casual. And Jenny?
And I'm Jenny Lamb, and I've been at Oracle now, I think 15 months. I followed Hillel Cooperman, and I just couldn't give up the chance of working with him again. We've been working together now for about 18 years.
Yeah? Everyone's like, is that okay? Are you okay with that?
And we're not married. A lot of people think that we're married. We're not married.
We are married, not to each other.
That's right.
Our spouses would be not, you understand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. We've gotten all the important things out of the way.
Do a selfie real quick?
Oh yeah. Can
Okay.
we take a selfie with you guys?
We're just
Would that
stalling.
be okay? All right. Wait. I was just worried we would forget. Here, and we might need to take a couple. All right, I'm gonna have to do it this way because I'm not gonna be able to see. All right, here we go. So, wait a minute, if we could. Here, we'll do a couple. Wait,
Okay.
Here, you got to get in here. Wait, okay, one, and we'll stitch it together. But then it'll be weird because our faces. Okay, there we got it. Okay, we got the selfie done, and then I'll just yeah, there we go. Okay, all right, that's the show. Thanks everybody. All right.
Excellent.
Everything okay? Yeah. All good. All good. Thank you. Okay, so with that, you want to get us started?
Yeah, you're first.
I'm first. Okay, great. So look, the company has a history of doing a lot of amazing things. Oracle has a history of doing a lot of amazing things around how we store your data, how we store it securely, how we store it globally, how we create great technology and innovation, and all sorts of really good stuff that we've done, and we're proud of it. But that, we also know that we can't rest on our laurels. And we know that the bar for, it used to be that you just made technology and it did something amazing and that was good enough. And it was good enough for a while too. But the bar has been raised. It's not good enough to just do something amazing. You need to also do it in a way that our customers, our users, really enjoy the experience of using it. And so Jenny and I came to Oracle because Oracle said, hey, we'd like some help to have our user experience go through a process of renewal. And I love that word because it means to make something fresh and strong and new again. And it doesn't mean it wasn't good before, because we've had great design team at Oracle for some time, been focused on the user experience, but it was time to kind of take that generational leap. And you need to understand, this is just a little bit personal that I want to share, but enormous, decades-old, iconic tech companies, they typically don't let you do that. They don't let you just come in and just, hey, come on in and redesign everything. Like, they just don't. But Oracle said, yes, please do. And in fact, when I say Oracle did, it was the senior leadership, and it's also all of our fellow 139,998 employees who are like, yeah, let's do this. And so what you're going to see today is this new user experience that we're all working on together. And we're just at the very early stages. So I'm really excited that we're at this place of renewal.
So the single biggest expression of this renewal is the experience that people have with Oracle. And the way that we like to think about it at Oracle is that it's not just the responsibility of the brand or the marketing or the product teams, but that we think about it as a singular experience, a singular journey. And that all of those touch points, end to end, tell a story. They tell a narrative. This presentation, aside from the beginning goofing off, this event, the on-site graphics, the swing. Have you guys checked out the swing downstairs? Pretty cool. The tone, the words that we use, the behavior that we have with our customers. All of those, we are committed to improving, constant improvement every day, every single moment. So that unique story, we think, is about data and bringing data to life. I'm not sure if you noticed, but we did a launch of our new mission statement written by our founder. Our mission is to help people see data in new ways, discover insights, unlock endless possibilities. This isn't about a product or a technology or a feature. It's why we get motivated and come to work every day, to build great stuff and great experiences for customers.
And it's really a privilege that as designers, we get to come up here on stage and represent this work of all those 140,000 people. But the fact is that what is leading us is not designers, but design. And design is just the simple idea that we listen to our customers, and we have a nuanced understanding of how all of you are challenged every day in your jobs, and we see opportunities where we can help with the thing that we're good at, and then we just apply creative thinking and hard work to try and create solutions that you feel good about. And that's what's leading us, is that notion of design. You don't have to be a designer to be making great design. So with that, we have, this is a little bit of look, you're at a tech conference, so by definition, you are already kind of behind the scenes, right? You understand how things are built, and so we're going to show you a little bit how things are built. So it's a little inside baseball, but I think it's interesting, and also I want you to see how much thought went into all this. So we have what we call a new user experience design system, and like Jenny said, it spans everything we do, and we call it Redwood. And we named it Redwood for a variety of reasons. Redwood City, where we're based, our HQ. The color red, we're fans, even though we have a new, warmer red. We'll talk about that. And redwood trees are organic and of the earth and one of the wonders of the world, and beautiful and massive and strong. And also they reach up to the cloud. I don't need your sympathy laughter.
Density.
Yes.
Layers of concepts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's take a moment, and we'll give you, hopefully, you may have seen this already, but we'll take a quick run through it. It's 67 seconds. If you could hit the lights and blast the sound, we'll hit play. Cool. Okay, so let's deconstruct how we go about this. So basically, we start with a bunch of Lego bricks. Not actual ones, but sort of metaphorical Lego bricks. And these are patterns and components that we design and that we build in Jet and that we make accessible to our entire integrated vertical platform, including our tool set, VBCS. These are interaction design patterns. They're conversational design patterns, so that includes also our bot platform. And those are, you can think of those as sort of the flow, the logic of each of the user experiences. And that's sort of, when you're thinking about how to solve a user problem, that's like, how do we get them from point A to point B, right? So that their brain is like, yeah, that did the job. But then in that top layer, we also worry about how they feel as they get from point A to point B. And I realize this may be kind of a funny thing to hear at an Oracle conference, like we are concerned about making sure that you feel good using our products. Not just because they did what they said they would. Not just because they did them well, but because you literally felt that the tools were comfortable, easy, inspiring, aspirational to use, that they understood you, made you feel good. And so that's things we do in the aesthetics, right? We have a system, a look and feel. And we also have tone and voice, even the words we use, right? Making sure that they are not, making sure that they're positive and that they represent who we are and what we stand for and how we want to communicate. Now, these ingredients are only they got to be great, but they're still just ingredients. We need to make dishes out of these. I like food analogies. So if you look at the bottom half of the slide as the pantry of ingredients, the top half are all these dishes that we make, and it's just a sampling. So our ERP applications, HCM, CX, SCM, our infrastructure, our autonomous database, our tool set, whether it's BI or VBCS or ODA, even OCOM, Oracle.com, the places we tell our stories, whether they're digital like Oracle.com or whether they're the physical world, like Jenny said, OpenWorld itself. This very presentation, we take this system and we apply to all of those things.
So one of the first questions the team asked, or we asked ourselves was, what does this design language say about us, and what story do we want to tell? What colors and images reflect who we are and who we serve and who we represent? So we started with these, they're the sort of overarching theme of this was really around humanity, bringing more humanity into every interaction we have with our customers. One of the biggest, most noticeable changes is this subtle shift to red, but not just the shift to red, to warmer red. We kind of gave that bright, iconic red that we had a hug, is the quantity that we use the red. And sometimes we feel like you don't need to shout to be heard. That actually, if you use smaller quantities of this special signature color, you can actually be more special with it. You can be more meaningful. You can tell a story. We also are grounded in this differentiated, more natural bark chocolate food. Brown, that is our new differentiated neutral that's evolved from our blacks. And an interesting thing happens when you develop the color palette that extends beyond the brand signature color palette. When you add black to primary colors, you get shades. And shades actually make people feel like the product or the experience is more sophisticated, more refined. And that was what we were going for. A little behind the scenes here. By the way, I wanted to mention too that we've made a really big investment in design across Oracle, and we already had an amazing team here, but we also hired a bunch of great people from the industry, but not just enterprise, but consumer places like Target Creative and Starbucks, as well as Google, Facebook. Actually, not Facebook, sorry.
Google, Microsoft,
Amazon, yes. Yeah. You name them. But anyway, this is behind the scenes of our colors and the excruciating details we go through. We made many different changes in figuring out how we start from digital. We started our color palette from digital and how that translates to a standardized color system like Pantone. We have a brand new typeface, custom designed for us, called Oracle Sans. Interesting thing, a little Easter egg, is that the little wedge of the spur in the letter form, that echoes the angle that you see in our logo. We have many different weights. I think we're up to 8 different weights. It's scaled all the way down to UI sizes, so very readable, very functional, but also expressive. These textures, you probably have seen them throughout the conference. They were inspired by data. And initially, when the team got to work and they were trying to create something that really told that element of data in our story, they felt really machined and not touched by human. And so we ended up actually making these by hand. And there's this initial set here that we've used to bring to life these sort of flat colors that you typically see in tech. It adds visual interest and depth without getting in the way of the user interface and the functionality that you need to interact with. Our illustration style. You probably have seen some of these in some of the presentations. Interesting thing here is what is considered quintessential modern day graphic design, if you look across the industries, is the sort of European inspired design. That is minimal and flat, a Swiss grid, and we struggled with that because it didn't feel like us. It didn't reflect who we were. We were in I learned this yesterday in Steve Miranda's talk, we're in every single country around the world. And our employees work around the world, but we don't reflect that point of view in our design language. So it was really important that we captured a more global perspective, being inspired by Asian and African Aboriginal art. And then the components, the user interface components. It may seem so simple, a button or a form field or a menu. There's so much detail that goes into every single one of these things. The micro interactions, not just the design, but the development of it. And our partners in the JET team who are building this component platform. Our data visualizations. Here, I don't have them moving, but they are inspired by origami. They fold and unfold. And then when it all comes together, it looks something like this. This is where we're starting. I don't know if there are any, I know there are a few designers here in the audience, but does anyone know who Paul Rand is? I think he's like the best designer in the world. But he always said the best design languages, that they have a pleasure of recognition and the promise of meaning. And so when you experience it and see it, there's something there that attracts you to it, but you want to know more. You want to know what the story is behind that. So we've started that reveal here at OpenWorld with the signage, with our website, with how we tell our customers' stories and let them shine, and how we craft that framework around it. You'll start to see some more of that starting today.
You know, none of this matters if it's just a veneer across the product or the company. These values that we're talking about, you know, we mean it. This is who we aspire to be as a company. I'm not saying that we're always perfect at it. In fact, by definition, that's why we don't rest on our laurels. We come in every day because we know there's always improvements to be made. And so everything you see here, understand that this is, yes, it's very visible and it's at the surface level, but there is thinking and action and intent and empathy behind all of it to make that promise of meaning real. So, given that, let's dive into the products for a sec. I just want to show you 4 questions we ask ourselves, and then I'm going to demo these some of the new user interface for you. We ask ourselves 4 simple questions. 1, what is the user trying to accomplish? And we want to understand this in a nuanced way. Like, you know, I always joke around about expenses when we try to understand, well, what's the user problem with expenses? The user problem is not that it takes too many clicks, or that this UI is hard, or that UI is difficult, or you know, the report has too many fields. The real problem, user problem, is that they spent money for work, for their job, and they would like it back. That's it. Like, that is the problem. And Once we understand that, it lets us do a much better job trying to solve that problem instead of kind of being mired in our own universe and only looking at it through our lens, but we can look at it through the customer's eyes. The second thing we ask ourselves is, how does the user think about what they're doing? Like, what's their conceptual model? How are things organized in their mind? Not how do we think it should be organized, but how do they feel about it? And then third is, how do they feel after they used it? Do they feel good? At the end of the day, that's kind of all that matters. You know, people talk about, oh, did they complete the task? That's important. Did they complete it in a reasonable amount of time? Important. All those things are very good, but at the end of the day, like, are they excited? Are they happy? Are they content using the tools that we're creating? That's really, really the big question. And then finally, we have an incredible research team. You know, our team is called Oracle Design, but we are not just designers. We're designers, researchers, engineers, product managers, program managers, writers, all together creating this design together. And the research team in particular spends a lot of time building tools so that we can continuously learn how we're doing, right? We have a theory of the problem, we put out a solution, we do our best to solve it, and then we got to listen and get real humble and understand, did we meet the mark? And if not, where did we not meet the mark, and how can we do better? Okay, so with that, if you would go to logo for a second. Thank you. I could stare at that for a while. Okay. I'm going to do this. That worked. Cool. And then I'm going to do this. Okay, so who here has seen one of our new user experience demos over in either Steve Miranda's keynote or at the Oracle at Oracle session? Just raise your hand if you've already seen those. Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try to go quick through a bunch of them. I had assumed that all you guys had seen those already, and I was gonna skip a couple, but maybe we'll go back to a couple of those. All right, so for those of you who've seen it, I got some new goodies for you. Or actually, you know what? Actually, could you go to logo for one more sec? I got a new idea. Sorry, we're gonna just do 2 seconds. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go real quick through the ones, so for those who it's a rerun, I promise I'm gonna cut out the commercials during the reruns, and then I'm gonna get to the new episodes. It's like a binge watch, and you wanna catch up on the story so you're not coming in midway. Okay, let's go back to computer, and since we used that expenses example, let's dive in. So imagine we are at a customer where they already have the Oracle ERP experience, the Oracle Cloud ERP, and we've upgraded it to this new Redwood user experience, which is exactly what we're working on. They get an email saying, hey, welcome, tap to check it out. And it goes right into the app, which greets them and says, welcome, thrilled that you're here, get a little introduction, and then dives them right into the experience. The first thing you'll notice is in that bottom right is that O in the red square. Now you'll see that as a decorative element all over, as a graphical element all over the conference, on some of your materials, in slides, but it is not just a graphical element, it's actually a piece of the user interface. And if you were in any of the keynotes, you saw they literally built a physical version of it on stage, which is totally cool. And we call it Ask Oracle. It's the Ask Oracle button. So anytime you have a question, you just tap there and ask. So let's do exactly that. We tap there, and it knows it's our first time with this new expenses experience, and it introduces itself. Hi there, I'm Oracle. I can create expenses for you. I say, all right, let's give it a shot. I just did an informational interview with a candidate that we're recruiting, so I write add expense for $7.56 for coffee with a candidate. And what does it do? Okay, it got the $7.56 right, easy. Right? I typed it. I could have said it. It got the coffee with the candidate, the date, et cetera, all good. It understood the coffee is a meal-ish. But it also put 2 attendees. Right? It parsed the language in there, coffee with the candidate, to know it wasn't just me, but that there were 2 attendees there. And these are the little nuances and details that we think make the experience not just easier and faster, but more seamless and more pleasurable. I say, looks good. Great. Let's fast forward a couple of weeks. Now it gets interesting. I fly off to London. I'm going to go do a sales pitch in London, big deal over there, and I land. The system has already sees my itinerary because that's got expensed as well, my flights, et cetera. And as soon as I land and I connect to the cellular, it says, hey, welcome to London. It gives me a text message notifying me that the Heathrow Express, The train is the fastest way, cheapest way to get from the airport to downtown London, which it knows where my hotel is as well. And it says, hey, I have more tips for you. I tap on that, it goes into the app, and it starts saying, hey, here's the conversion rate, here's how much you should tip, and by the way, here's the cheapest way to get local money. So now we've gone from me telling it what I want to it now being proactive and saying to me, hey, here's some advice for spending while you're there. Now, who here has read their company's entire expense policy? Sir, did you write your company's entire expense policy, perhaps? I mean, respect, seriously. But I just, do you want to share my Netflix account? I could, okay. I mean, bless your hearts, those of you who have. I have not. And many of us have not, and certainly when we were arriving in London, like, oh, how much was I allowed to spend, and the conversion rate and all that. So we just asked the system, how much can I spend on dinner? And it tells us, but it's interesting. Now at the bottom in small text, it says, well, look, the policy max is $125 a person. That's a fancy dinner. But the auto-approved limit is $50 a person. And this isn't, again, I hope you see the kind of layered nature of everything that we're showing. It's not just about the user interface, it's about the entire user experience. And what the implication of this is that a lot of our functions we're trying to have less friction, make more seamless, including expenses which no one wants to do, and no one wants to spend time approving. If it's in policy, if there is a receipt, if it's on an approved trip, approve it. Why do we need a human being to just hit a button? It doesn't make any sense. So this is the kind of thing that we're looking to improve. So let's fast forward and say, now, furthermore, I'm using my corporate card. Why don't we talk to the API of the bank that has the card, in this case American Express, and get that tied to the expense system? That's exactly what we did here. And sure enough, there's a notification that says, hey, I created an expense for your meal at Dishoom. That's the restaurant I went to. 500 pounds, by the way. Not 50 bucks a person. And it says, hey, I need a receipt. So in this case, not only is it being proactive, but it's being proactive asking me for the couple of pieces of information that it needs. I tap the camera, focus my phone, and snap a picture, send it. It goes and asks me, and one more thing, which describes your meal, like who was there? Did you have any customers there? Was it just employees? I answer, and we're done. Great. Okay, let's do one more thing. I want to show you what happens when you actually just launch the Oracle Cloud apps in the browser on your phone. We'll go tap in the browser, and you get this new home experience. You know, for those of you who have seen our newsfeed experience in HCM, that is the precursor to this. That was our first really exciting new user interface that we've done in a bit, and we've learned a ton from it, and we're deeply excited about it, and we're continuing to evolve it. And we combine that with all our learning and also the new aesthetic, we get to a place like this. Not only does it have a personalized list of tasks and functions, but also at the very top, what you see is a search box. And what's interesting about the search box is that we try to make it smart. So instead of having one place for searching for tasks or data in the system and one place to ask the system questions, our thought was, why don't we just make one place and then let the system figure it out, right? You just type and we'll do the right thing. So in this case, I go and I tap in there, and I start typing, and this is, again, I'm asking the system another question. Can I expense an ATM fee, right? It told me at the beginning, you should use an ATM to get local money. That's where the best exchange rate is. But what I want to know is, well, what about the fee? And it says, yes, you can, and then it does something even a little bit smarter. It says, well, why is the user asking about this? Probably they're in that situation. Why don't I just offer up the option of expensing an ATM fee right here? It knows roughly the standard fees. I tap £3. It says, hey, is this what you were looking to do? I say yes, and we're done. OK, let's go to Logo real quick. I'm going to erase. I want to see how many demos I can show you in 15 minutes. OK, do this. We'll do this. All right, so let's shift gears now from expenses to HCM, and in particular to how we connect with other people at work. Thank you. So again, there's that little Ask Oracle button in the bottom right-hand corner. Let's tap it, and let's see on a desktop or a laptop what that homepage experience would look like. Where can I find my payslip? Look up at the top. Actually, I'm going to go back a second because I really want you to catch this. Right up in that search box again, as soon as we go up there, look at what it's doing. How much PTO do I have left? Ask, where can I find my payslip? Ask, how do I develop my career? So not only is it a place where you get to instruct the system, ask it questions, search for things, find the thing that you want to do, it is also teaching, right? It starts rotating through suggestions and prompts of all the things that you can do in the system. Because our systems are complex in that they do a lot of things. Actually, I should say our systems are powerful, right? They have a lot of functionality, and a lot of functionality that most of our users don't really know about or are not even aware of. And so this is a teacher. And as the system functionality grows, either because we add a feature or you add a module, we can, or as you add a module, building your own, you can actually program this experience to run these prompts to teach your users exactly what the system can do. And it can even say, well, I know the user already knows how to do this thing. They've done it a couple of times. I'm not going to tell them about it anymore. I'll tell them about some new stuff. So we're going to search in there, and in this case, we're just going to say, find my colleagues. Now, we could have said that 100 different ways. Company directory, employee directory, company emails, find a phone number, find an email, find a coworker, all these different ways. It doesn't matter, right? The whole goal is to go from a world, and we're all used to this in technology, and we excuse it often. And by the way, as someone who's worked in technology my whole life, I have marveled at the slack you have given us by always blaming yourselves instead of us. Oh, yeah, how many times have you seen a user go, it's not working, I'm an idiot? What? Why? Like, no, that's our job to do better. So in this case, instead of you having to figure out the exact magical incantation to know how we named a feature, you just say it however you say it. And we'll get you to the right place. And even if on day one we're not quite smart enough to do that, we get to learn over time. It's one of the benefits of being in the cloud. So we have this area that we call connections. Now, we call it connections and not just company directory because we think it's more than just a company directory. And let me show you what I mean by that. So you're going to see a lot of components that get reused across a lot of our user interface. We're not just redesigning our apps. We are building a system. This is a system that we are using. This is a platform that we are building. And this is a system that ultimately you will all be able to use. We hope. Hopefully we will embrace it, give us feedback, help us make it better, and extend. These are components you'll be able to build applications out of. You'll be able to build Redwood applications or Redwood extensions to all of this functionality that we have. And one of these components is that bar across the top. And it's real simple. It's this idea that every time you have a list, the user probably wants to find something in that list, and maybe we can give them suggestions of how to refine their list further to get to the thing they want. In this case, do you want to see teams or communities or who you follow or your followers in this case? So let's click teams. There's 202 different teams in this company. Or I could go back and I could say, well, let me see all of the communities, right? Like the employee special interest clubs. And notice that every time I click on one of those suggestions, what does it do? It gives me more. It runs the query, and then it gives me more suggestions. So it's always trying to find ways to refine. And if you don't see the thing you want, no problem. All you got to do is go hit the search. Hit the search. It again starts trying to teach you what it can do. And let's say let's say I'm a marketing specialist, and I want to find other marketing specialists, right? In the company. So I go and I type marketing specialist and I hit return, and now it does something interesting. Remember the mission statement that Larry wrote, right? Insights, possibilities, help you see data in new ways. This is what we're talking about. That's not just an idea, a big abstraction. It's real for us. So in this case, we thought, well, we have 128 marketing specialists. Let's plot it on a bird's eye view of the organization. Right? So you can see where all the marketing specialists are in the organization. You can even go hover on the people in the list, and actually it'll light up where they are organizationally as you hover. But let's say actually I'm like, I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I want to see all the marketing specialists that are near me. I'm going to go look at this in a different visualization. I'm going to click on this little thumbnail on the bottom right and see it on a map. Again, notice the tabs at the top Keep suggesting new refinements. All these things try to work in an elegant, harmonious, and polished and helpful way. I go click on Portland, I zoom in on a map just like you would on on Google Maps or whatever it is, and now it refines even further, just like you do on Yelp with restaurants when you zoom in on the map and the list refines. Love that. And now it's here too, right? And also, we'll also let you search for restaurants in our HCM software. No, we will not. Everyone's like, really? Why? So one more thing about this. I want to show you, when we think about the directory, yes, you want to find an email address or find a phone number. But we also think that this is a way that each of us, as parts of an organization, parts of an enterprise, parts of a company, we get to introduce ourselves to our colleagues, right? Talk a little bit about ourselves, what we have to offer, what we care about, who we are, right? We're not just cogs in a machine, we're human beings. So watch what happens when I click on Stephanie Kim. Let's say I'm interested in her as maybe a mentor, as a colleague. And look, it's like a portfolio that unfolds, revealing all her information, and including little nuances, like right under her photo, a pronunciation guide and a little recording of her name, right? Just the tiniest little thing that helps make the way we relate to other people a positive experience, like pronouncing their name properly, which, by the way, my name is Hillel, and that is a thing, because most people don't pronounce my name properly. So I love this feature. I can scroll to the right. I can see all about Stephanie. I can see her experience at the company. I can even see referrals and references from other colleagues that she's worked with and what they think of her work. And I can even, of course, go browse the org chart and see where she fits in it. But again, in that moment, what do? We have a different visualization that's really optimized for kind of surfing the org chart, right? And getting organizational information. Instead of jamming it right in there in the profile, we have a separate view just for this. These are the kind of things that we're doing, kind of things that we're thinking about. These are the kind of components, patterns, page templates we're building, etc. OK. All right, so let's go to logo. We're going to do one more swap. Great. I'm going to bring up one more demo. OK, this is a real interesting one. OK, let's go back to computer, please. So you may not know this, but in our quest to be complete, right? The thing at Oracle, kind of our philosophy is that we believe that when we can deliver the whole stack for you, both vertical and horizontal, for all the things that you do, we can do a better job, right? Because it all works well together instead of you having to kind of jury-rig everything together. So we are even going into having software for the public sector, for governments, for cities, towns, et cetera. And I want to show you this. Even if public sector is not your thing, I want you to check this out because I want you to see now how this user interface, this user experience system applies in this situation. You'll see some similarities and some new things. So this is the city of Delphi, Oracle, Delphi. OK. And there's really, we've learned a lot about how cities are developed. It's actually a fascinating process. There's all these planning and zoning rules, and you really have three kind of key groups that have to work together and get into harmony to make a city grow, and grow in a healthy way for everyone. There's the developer who wants to go and develop a piece of land and turn it into a commercial space or a residential space or whatever it happens to be, manufacturing. There's the people who run the city government. And then there's the citizens. And making all that work together is non-trivial. So for now, watch what happens. We go and this is the dashboard that the developer gets. We're the developer right now. And we go to create a project. Now what you see here is an overview of the entire process. And then it zooms in and highlights the very first step. And we click on that and watch what happens. It moves up to the tabs at the top. So the reason I point this out is not, I know you weren't expecting like an advanced class on planning and zoning today at OpenWorld. That is not my goal, although that's a side benefit. The point is, like, how many times do we have in our systems, right, in our processes, in our enterprises, relatively complex, long processes with dozens and dozens of steps where there's conditional branching, right? Where there's dependencies between the steps, and we need to convey that somehow to the user. That's exactly what you're seeing here. You saw the overview of the entire flow, and then here, I'll just show it to you real quick one more time. You see the overview of the entire flow. Here, we'll go create project, and this could scroll. It highlights the phase that we're in, that it wants us to go to, and then it takes those first few steps, and then it visually connects them to those steps at the top. So you realize, I see. I have a big view, like a map of the entire process, and then I get a miniature view of the next few steps. So we're going to actually, it's going to start now making suggestions. This is another attribute of our system where at every step of the way, now you don't need to follow the suggestions, but in many cases, our understanding is people need guidance. That's what we're hearing from you, right? That people want to be guided. They're not confronted with hundreds of options. What do I do next? So that's exactly what the system does. It asks, it gives guidance, it asks for the information it needs, and it tells you what to do next. Now this gets kind of cool right here. What the developers do is they want to find space in the city. So I want to show you again, this is that same notion of insights on top of data, and where we use data visualization to do that. So on the left, we have all the criteria that the developer is using, and on the right is the map. We can go full screen. This is another notion of adapting to our devices, right? We want to be flexible and seamless, whether we're on a phone, whether we're on a laptop, or whether we're on an enormous screen, maybe on a wall, right? We're going to be looking at those as well. And watch what happens. I hover over this area. I see there's a few potential properties. I hover over this district, and it says, you know, you should adjust the criteria because you're not going to find what you want unless you adjust a few of your requirements. So again, the system guides you. And then watch what happens when I click in there. Yeah. Like these little things, they are both a way of conveying information more effectively to the user. And they are also, hopefully, a way that makes the user feel really good about the software they're using because it feels modern and elegant and attractive. So that's just a little view into our public sector software. We are investing hard in, Jenny, you want to come back up? Maybe we'll take a, can we take questions, or we decided no? We don't get, oh no, no, you cannot ask any questions. I'm sorry. As my youngest daughter's kindergarten teacher taught me, you get what you get and you don't get upset. That's it. But Jenny and I will be here afterwards to answer questions if you want, or we'll go out there so we don't interrupt anybody that's coming here next. But the main thing that I want to leave you with is this. Number one, there are hundreds and literally thousands of people now working on building this user experience for all of you, both at the end user level and at the platform level for developers. We're taking this really seriously. There is no plan B. This is our 100% focus. Number two, it's going to take some time. We're at the very early stages. So we're going to be seeing you over and over again at these events, showing you our progress. And we will make progress, but we're doing it with quality, and that just takes time. And then last of all, I just want to say that we really, really can't do it without you. We need your feedback. We need your questions, even though we don't want to listen to them right this second. But you can have my email address is hillel.cooperman@oracle.com. Send me mail, whatever you want to do. You can tweet at me. It's just Hillel. That's, again, the bonus of having an unpronounceable name is that I have Hillel on Twitter. No one else wanted it. And the point is, we really would love, we can't do this without you. So when we say that we're all on this journey together, we don't mean just all the folks at Oracle. We mean everybody in our community. And we think this is just the very beginning of our journey together. So thank you very much for coming, and we really appreciate it.